Look, all this hair is gone.
It's gone.
There's so much hair
and just
that has disappeared.
I feel so relieved though. This is so much, like, I don't have to do
God.
anything to it. I just, even
I
out
don't
of
either.
Except I have this cowlick, right? That's always.
I have a cowlick. I have a wave thing that happens with my head. The easiest way to combat that, just shave it off. Just shave it off.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are Those Annoying Vegans. As you know, next weekend is Halloween.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love candy?
Ooh.
More specifically, who doesn't love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups?
Mm.
And there's also Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Well, there's that.
And Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Yes, I used to love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
So did I. But unfortunately, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups have dairy in them.
Inexplicably.
They don't need to. That's why we're going to
Veganize it.
and create our very own vegan peanut butter pumpkin balls.
That's right. We created a peanut butter filling that tastes exactly like a Reese's cup. And you know how we know? Because we loved Reese's cups. It's sugary and rich, and we covered them with chocolate and decorated them for Halloween. And most importantly, they are animal cruelty free.
And as always, our recipes are delicious, affordable, and easy to make.
So let's make them.
Let's make them.
The recipe is actually a recipe that my family makes at Easter time. Usually we make the peanut butter eggs. That's how I was introduced to the recipe. Super easy to veganize. You just replace the butter with the non-dairy butter, and then for the chocolate, just get the semi-sweet instead of the milk chocolate.
Right.
And that's it.
And you want to get semi-sweet because the peanut butter mix already has a ton of sugar in it. It's really plenty of sugar. I can only have one a day.
But the peanut butter filling?
It tastes exactly like peanut butter cups. It's ridiculous.
You were just eating the filling when we were making them.
Yeah, so much so that when the peanut butter balls were ready, I had no room.
I have a very big sweet tooth. And it's because my grandmother and my mother like to bake, and I like to bake. I like making sweet things.
So guys, when it comes to the decorative aspect, we initially wanted to coat them in white chocolate, but vegan white chocolate is actually pretty hard to find.
Yeah.
There is a website, I think it's called Oh Nuts. I'll link it below. If you want to be more specific about the decorating, you can get vegan white chocolate chips and mix in orange food coloring, and that way you can just dip it in the orange right away and just decorate it with the black
That's right.
frosting. Yeah.
Anatomically correct pumpkins.
Yeah.
We went with the easier to find chocolate.
Yeah, the more accessible. We want to make these recipes accessible to you, so if we can't find an ingredient, we're not going to go dig around the corners of the earth for them, you know.
Order specialty vegan items online.
Yeah. Also, we discovered that lollipop sticks are actually pretty pricey.
They were like $6 for a 100-pack or something.
Yeah, we took Q-tips and took the cotton off the Q-tips.
Pulled the cotton off the Q-tips.
It's called being frugal. This recipe is so fun to make with your kids.
And you can get them started with these vegan recipes and then carry them into their adulthood. That's always fun about the holidays, though, is like the family
gets together.
Baking.
Yeah,
you know?
It's an experience. It's together time. Speaking of vegan children, a lot of people are of the belief that raising a child vegan is equivalent to child abuse and neglect.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately due to a few select parents who went a little too far and fed their children ridiculous diets of like apple juice and wheatgrass and coconut milk, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's not a vegan diet. Those parents give good parents who've done the research, who consult with a nutritionist, they give those parents a bad name. Raising vegan children is perfectly doable. I have many friends who have done it.
Jim Jeffries brought this up in a stand-up recently where he's sort of like, this is how society works. We're only as fast as our slowest member. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link, that type of thing. When you see the label on soy milk, and it's like, this is not a replacement for breast milk. It's like, okay, obviously we had to put that label on there
because some people
for
thought.
a reason.
Yeah.
So it is uninformed people making uninformed decisions. As we've said on this channel many times, you can't simply remove the meat and the dairy from a standard American diet and just eat what's left over. Mm-hmm. You have to replace your protein, replace your calcium, replace your iron, replace your B12, replace all these things that we think we can only get from animal products. Mm-hmm. But that's not true. It's just a little bit of retooling.
Yeah.
Just a little retooling of your diet, and then you can pass that information on to your kids and they can live very healthy lives.
And the other thing is, some people get really offended. Why are you forcing your beliefs on your children when they can't make choices of their own? And I'm like, that's what parenting is. You make decisions for your children based on what you think is best for them, right? And then when the time comes and they can make their own decisions, so be it. Isn't saying, oh, you're forcing your beliefs on your child, the equivalent of you just the same forcing your beliefs that your child should eat meat. Either way, any other custom is perfectly okay, except all of a sudden veganism is forcing your child.
I would flip it and compare it to something like smoking. You tell your child, don't smoke. It's not good for you. These are the reasons why. Now, when your child goes off to college and moves out of the house, they might choose to start smoking. They're adults, but you've educated them. You've given them your best parenting advice as to why you should or shouldn't do X, Y, or Z. Mm-hmm. And then when they become adults, they can then make an informed decision. You can't force anyone to change their mind about something, but you can inform and educate and give someone all of the facts, all of the advice, and then it's up to you as the individual.
Children's diets are a little more delicate than ours. And as a parent, you're responsible for doing the research. The people who say things like you're forcing your beliefs probably haven't had a conversation with their child as to where meat comes from. You tell your child that carrots come from the ground. And do you know that, the cow we saw and pet last weekend at the farm, this is where that comes from. The cow has to die. And you'll see the countless videos on YouTube. I will post a few links in the description below. They are very touching because children do understand, and it seems that they understand better than adults. But adults, in an attempt to protect them, lie to them and say, no, it's okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. But in essence, you're really invalidating their feelings. I feel like that could be psychologically damaging.
There are adult topics and child topics, and that often gets brought up as a rebuttal. Like, hey, we don't need to expose kids to the horrors of a factory farm. They're just little kids. And I would agree with that, except if the child is being encouraged to participate, then it kind of is a different thing.
When they ask questions, there's a way to tactfully explain things. It really comes as a surprise to me when people bash vegan parents for raising their children vegan while they're walking in the grocery store filling their carts with fried chicken nuggets and popsicles and sugary cereals. The rates of child obesity are the highest they've ever been. Why not come down on those parents?
People are getting bigger, and I think things like heart disease and type 2 diabetes are getting worse. The question is, why? What's changing and what helps? And as Dr. Michael Greger has said, if the only thing a vegan diet could do was stop our number one killer, which is heart disease, shouldn't that be the default diet until proven otherwise?
Right.
If that's all it could do.
And cancer is making its way up too.
Yeah. And a vegan diet greatly reduces heart disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity, all these things. It's really good for you.
Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. That's it.
Oh, cooking food at home. It's like this wild concept. When I was a kid, you go to the store and you buy ingredients
And you make
and
things.
you make food at home, like make dinner. Like,
And kids love helping in the kitchen. They
Yeah.
love helping mom.
like mom and dad make dinner.
They want to be
you
a
know?
part of it.
It's okay to take a little bit of time away from the Game of Thrones, the Gears of War, or whatever the kids are into, the Twittering and the Instagramming and the Snapchatting. Just take a little time for yourself and cook yourself a good meal. And
So rewarding.
do what we do and just cook it for the whole week, and then you have home-cooked lunches every day.
You can reheat them
Yeah.
and watch your Game of Thrones. For anyone out there looking for help or guidance when it comes to raising vegan children, bringing up the topic of veganism with your child, or talking to them about healthy eating, conscientious living, Ruby Roth is an amazing children's book author. And she writes about these topics in ways that are accessible and tactful. Look for her books on Amazon. They're really cute. We have a couple of them. I'm still missing one. I'll post the links in the description below.
She's a mommy's girl.
No.
But I have a daddy's girl, too.
She's
Where
outside.
is she?
Outside.
She's sleeping.
Okay. Shall we end?
Basis? Basis? No basis.
Gracie, tell everybody out there to love all the animals. We all have feelings. Just because we're a cow, it doesn't mean we don't feel.
I think it's never too early to begin learning how our choices affect the public realm, and affect other people, and affect animals. I think given the health, economic, and environmental crises that we find ourselves in today, we can't afford to wait for the next generation to grow up before we start teaching them how to live healthfully and consciously.
One might argue that maybe some of these choices and visuals and images just are too much at that age.
There's nothing in my book that a child wouldn't see walking through the grocery store, in the deli section, or on the myriad shows on TV about hunting or fishing or even cooking. And I think that by avoiding or sugarcoating the truths, we're actually hindering what our children are capable of. I'm not talking about the standard American diet minus meat and dairy. The vegan diet and lifestyle has our own food pyramid with all the necessary nutrients and recommended nutrients actually that many Americans are deficient of. 50 to 90% of Americans are deficient in B12.
Sure.
So anybody can benefit by looking into this pyramid. The nutrients in a plant-based diet are more dense, they're more bioavailable, and they come free of harmful side effects that meat and dairy cause, particularly with protein, which causes IGF, insulin-like growth factors, which trigger the growth of tumors and cancer. So we really need a reality check in this country about who needs to be careful about the diet that they're feeding to their children.